mean, in their defense, not that I'm trying to defend them, but I would understand if someone rich in the church or somebody was like, here, I bless you with this $2,000 t-shirt because I made it, I own this brand, all this stuff, and your words have really pressed into my heart, so I'm giving you this, and you wear it because it's nice and you love it and it's cool and all this stuff. But I do think it's weird, and it's as some people would say, it's an ick if someone is dressing for the culture. I don't know.
It's like that one church you're telling me about, where I'm not sure if it was in Texas, but they have a huge Ford Bronco on the ceiling. And if I could see Apostle Paul walk into a church, look at the ceiling and like, oh, there's a car for sale inside of a church.
100%.
I think some tables would be flipped.
Oh, without a doubt. And I for story time, I went to this church one time, and I would name drop if I knew the name, but I actually don't. But I walked in, it was like a big mega church, and they were doing a sermon series. They're doing this gets me riled up, and I'm trying not to get riled up on the podcast, but they were doing a sermon series on like being built tough, being built strong, and like, so for their thing, they had a deal with Ford, and there was literally 2 trucks on the outside of the church before you walked in, just like in the patio area, and then when you walk inside in the like lobby foyer area, there was another Bronco just sitting there. And it's not that to be built tough, to be built solid is a bad sermon series idea. It's not bad to draw inspiration from other brands and be like, yeah, we're like, it's like a spin-off of Ford because their logo is built tough, all this stuff. But it is weird when it seems like you picked it seemed like to me that they picked the branding before the message.
Yeah.
And they picked the idea that they want to sell all this Ford stuff, and they had this deal with Ford, which I think is actually just really gross, like disgusting for a church to do stuff like that. But it was weird that, not weird, I think it made God sad that they had chosen like the deal before making the message. And it comes a lot to like the problem, like a big problem is, or something that God even tells us to be aware of, is like what is truly coming out from inside? What is the real message we are preaching? Are we practicing it? And is it like just something to tickle everyone's ear, or is it like actual truth? And I think not know this on churches that have a lot of people, or churches that have a big congregation, or churches that can gather a good crowd. Like, I think the problem is in like, if a mega church is purely designed around just attracting people and bringing people in, and then shaping a message to push any other agenda other than
God,
truth and God and repentance and the gospel, then I think they're not utilizing the authority or the stewardship or the gifts that God has given them, and they're just using it in a way to like be famous, be hip, be in with the culture and all these things. And like I'm not against contemporary church. I'm not against contextualizing the truth and the gospel. But when it is, and a lot of people will use that as their defense when they do things in the church, but I think what a lot of churches do, and they use the excuse that we're contextualizing or we're keeping it hip and contemporary, is what they're really doing is just saying whatever they want to say and doing whatever they want to do that they know brings in people or brings in money, and they're doing it just for their own gain or just for the church's gain.
Yeah.
And I think it gets really muddy and it gets really dirty.